Hello, my name's Riz and welcome to my channel. If you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. It will really help me out just to get these videos out to more people. In today's video, I'm going to be hacking my old A5000. Now I know you're asking, Riz, how are you going to hack your A5000? I'll tell you. Now, these cameras are great. In fact, the reason why I haven't got, why I'm hacking this is because I replaced it for the A5000 for its superior video capabilities. And that is what's recording right now. However, these vlogging cameras have a very big flaw. They don't have any mic input. So my thinking is, firstly I tried trading this in to MPB so it would take some money off my next camera, and they sent it back because it's quite obvious that this has been taken apart. I don't think you're going to be able to make this out in here, but along these seams there's some screwdriver bits. I've taken this apart before, so it's not too big a deal. But I think that's why they sent it back to me. So my plan is to take it apart, see what microphone modules are being used in here, and possibly hardwire in a jack, and then test it out. There's a big chance this isn't going to work. I actually tried doing this hack on one of my action cams, my Ye 4K, and knackered it. It works now, but I had to buy a new part for it because me just tapping into the inline mics just doesn't work on these because they have specific microphone integrated circuits rather than just microphone modules or little, the little microphone things that you get in a lot of like camera and video equipment. But I'm hoping these are just going to be standard little microphones rather than just clever integrated circuits, and then I can try and do something with it. If not, I'll put it back together and this video will never see the light of day. But fingers crossed, if I can do it on this, I might be able to do it on the A5100. Before I started recording this video, I did have a quick look online to see if I could find a teardown before I start tearing this down and end up being bitterly disappointed. But I couldn't find anything. So that's the reason why I'm just, diving in, ripping it apart, and seeing if it's even possible. In an ideal world, I would have just checked the teardown, seen the modules and the pictures or in the video and decided there. But instead, you guys get to come along for the journey. So, without further ado, I'm going to set up the cameras and everything so we can try to get as much detail out of this as possible, because, like I said, nobody has done a teardown of this thing yet. So it might be useful for someone, regardless, even if, I'll break things. And yeah, we're gonna go. Okay, we're just gonna go.
12 seconds later.
To start the teardown, we're gonna keep this lens cap on for now. There are 12 screws around the outside that we want to get off. So, 4 of them are located in here. There's one cheeky one right in here. Can you see? Just there. So that's because I am right-handed. This makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, so that's those 4 done. Now what you can do is pull this out, and you literally just pull the ribbon cable. It hasn't even got clasp. There we go. Hanged on side. So there's that. Then there's this one on the side. Okay, so all the screws are done. I'm still leaving the front for now. There's a few screws in here, so let's just show you. There are a few screws, but I just want to protect that sensor. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And once you get that off, I think there's a few more underneath there. Another thing that I would like to do is possibly turn this into an infrared camera, which will mean removing the infrared filter from here. So you probably can't tell, but there's actually an extra layer on top of the sensor, and that is the infrared filter. So we'll see. Because like, what you can do, you can remove that infrared cut filter, and then you can still use it as a normal camera as well. You just have to put a filter in front of the lens instead, so it's not lost. Or like its main functions aren't lost or anything. So I don't know, I thought it could be a cool project anyway, and whilst I've got it in pieces, it will it seems like a prime time to do it. So this is coming apart quite easily, probably because I've had it apart before. But if you decide to take one of these apart, you might need a pry tool to get right in here. So just jiggling it until it comes free. Okay, so now we've got the back off. I want to try and keep as much of this intact as possible. Be careful with that. It is very easy to break, so I'm going to try to take this whole mechanism out without disconnecting the screen. So, fingers crossed. I'm just going to go a little bit wider on this. Yeah, well, I'm going to take the screen off. I'm just going to try to be careful. I feel like it's going to do more damage. Try and keep it on. Alright, this is a particularly short screw. Put that one on its own. That's the only one that's been a different size so far. There's this. There's that one just there. And once, oh, that's another short one, and then I'll be able to pull it off. Now this ribbon cable sits right in, like it curves in on itself into this crevice here, and then comes back out. So what I'm going to do, I've just got to undo that clasp there, and then I'll poke it out. There we go. And that's the screen gone. Alright, that's easier to work with now. So, the two microphones, in case anyone's wondering, are just at the top here. I can see some cables going in those directions, so fingers crossed this mod is going to work. There's a little hook, plastic hook that this comes into, so you just need to make sure you don't snag it. Oh, I can't remember how this is done. Oops. Okay, just unclips. Okay. Right, I'm not going to pull it too hard or anything. I just wanted to undo it just in case there was some screws or something in there. Should be able to pull this out. What was that? Oh. Okay. So this is all the covering for the flash. Okay, so there's, alright, well there's back panel. Even. Ow. I think I just got electrocuted by the flash capacitor. Those things are generally really high voltage. My camera overheated, so this is a good first test. I've lowered the quality of the video, so we'll see how it compares. It shouldn't overheat with this bit rate. And also I've got a fan blowing on me, so apologies if you can hear background noise. Hopefully my lav mic is fixing that. So we'll just carry on from where we left off. Let's keep going. Put in here. Another ribbon cable. There we go. And then this is the second mic. There we go. So there are two mic modules. I'm gonna take this one, I think. Okay, well, this is going to be quite nerve-wracking, but essentially what I need to do is unscrew these 4 screws on the back of the sensor. Oh dear, look how dirty that is. 1 second. Let's put some tissue down. Okay. That'll do. So, like I was saying, gonna have to undo these, and then once the actual sensor is separated from that front piece of metal, I'm gonna have to get my craft knife on it and literally cut away the glue that's holding it down. Could be interesting. This could be the end of this camera. Alright, those 4 screws are done. Oh man! Does this come off? Oh, Jesus. Okay, this is a bit of a different design to the NEX. This could be the reason why no one's done it. And this is all one housing. Okay, I have my X-Acto knife, or scalpel, or craft knife, whatever you want to call it. But the blade on it is not as sharp as it could be. So give me a sec.
A few moments later.
I'm back. Alright, so let's... Come on. There we go. Put the new one on. Done. So, remember, when you're using a sharp implement, always cut towards you. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I'll tell you what, actually, I might be able to do it from back here instead. Actually, where the plastic is, there we go. That works. Oh, this glue isn't that bad. decent. So that is done. Now, oh, there's another layer on this. Now what I'm going to do is just clean up this glue with some IPA. So I thought possibly that I had damaged whatever the coating was on here with the IPA, but it looks like it's just spread the glue a little bit. So that's fine, but just to make sure that I don't damage anything moving forward, I'm not going to actually clean the glue off. If you look closely, the glue is actually on the outside, and it's not actually protruding the sensor area at all. So I'll leave it for now. I'm going to reassemble it without the IR filter, and I'm just going to fast forward this bit. It's basically what we just did in reverse, but we'll see if I can actually remember. Cool. And then hopefully I can use it. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I've got it back together this far. I'm not quite sure how long it took, but yeah, it's going okay so far. Everything's kind of like clicking into place. That mess of stuff that was from up here was actually surprisingly easy to put back in. So now we have to desolder one of these mics, which is great. So I'm going to get my soldering iron sorted, and then we will start the wiring. Okay, so that's ready to go. If anyone's wondering where I got this from, I had some old Bose earphones that they come with little extension cables, and I didn't need the extension cable anymore, so that's where I've got this from. I stripped it right down to just the 4 contacts. There's that ready. Now we're here. So this is the one that I want to tap into. So I've just got a cut in right here. There was one thing that I changed after I recorded this video, and that was I disconnected both of the mics. So the reason for this is because I couldn't actually tell from the waveforms which mic was which channel, but also, like, you could just look on top of the camera and it said I was plugged into the left-hand channel. That's fine. But what I also found was happening was the camera, I think it blends the audio from both channels. I don't think it's like true stereo, if that makes sense. So even when, for example, I was unplugging the external mic, I would do a test. Both channels would be filled and would be active. So it was, I felt like it was a better idea to just disconnect both and make sure I'm only using external audio. So that's that. If you decide to do this, then disconnect both the mics. It just means you won't have any internal audio. You've got to decide whether it's worth it for you. Just so you are aware, the audio that you're hearing right now is the external mic plugged into the A5000, and also I have the UV and IR cut filter from Hoya, not sponsored. Yeah, it was quite pricey, but that's on the lens and that's correcting the colours. So it was that simple. I should have probably remembered which one was which. Pretty sure, I'll look at the video. But there we go. That has been disconnected. Now, I do need to come up with a solution for the cabling. I'm thinking I could feed it through the current mic hole. Assuming I have remembered which one was which. But if not, it's not a big deal. It's I can just reverse the polarity on the outside on this side. So yeah, no dramas. Alright, now I've got to remember where all of these ribbon cables go.
Eventually.
Okay, we're done. And I only had 2 screws left over. There's a couple that don't count. Cool, so it's a new day. You should have just seen some footage of me putting this heat shrink on here and trimming down the cables, and possibly even me just 3D printing the little bracket that this is going to sit in. Okay, so it's in. I just want to poke it through so that the actual jack is all the way at the other side. So if I screw this up, just holding it in place. Cool. I'm gonna put a dab here as well, so it doesn't move too much. Oops, just here. Before I close this up, I just want to make sure that the jack's still working. So I'm just gonna test it out. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Decent. So it still works. So now that I know that, let's unplug this. And just fill up this hole.
That's what she said!
Great. So now I know I can do it on this. Might be worth trying to do it on my A5100. I don't know. Obviously, this kind of thing totally voids your warranty, and I only got the A5100 2 days ago, so... Cool, so that's a success. So obviously the mic was one part, and then the infrared filter removal was the other part. I think now what I need to do is get a visible light cut filter to go over the lens, and then whenever I take a picture it will just be showing the infrared light, which I'll put some sample shots up of other people that have done it, and it looks really cool. Infrared photography looks really cool, so really excited about that. Really excited about this. Like, I can't believe this actually worked, and it's fairly neat. Obviously I'll cut this cable shorter, and then I think I'm gonna have it so that it's kind of like glued on the outside of this flap, so it's easy to get to, and it's fairly integral to the design. It shouldn't get in the way of anything if I put it in a small rig or anything. But yeah, it's been like a successful day. If anyone's interested in doing it, I would say do it at your own risk. I am not responsible for any damage you may do to your camera. Like, the reason why I did this was because this camera is basically unsellable anyway, or even if I did sell it, I'd get very little for it because of the condition it's in. So I was happy to, you know, take the risk. But yeah, obviously if it's your only camera, you do it at your own risk. But, you know, it can be done. Just proved it. I haven't exactly got the most amazing tools in the world. Some precision screwdrivers and tweezers was pretty much it, and a soldering iron. I'll see you again soon. And thanks for watching. Again, if you really like the content, then please consider subscribing. And if you've got any other ideas for videos that you'd like me to do, then please, you know, put suggestions down in the comments and like and share the videos. Thanks. See you soon.